Welcome to the Heron Heads podcast. My name is Julio, and I'm joined today by some friends and fellow Inter Miami fans, Dave, Chris, and Jose. And on behalf of the guys, we want to thank you for joining us for episode 19 here on the Heron Heads podcast, your first place for all things Inter Miami. In today's episode, we will be discussing Miami's next match against Toronto FC on Wednesday, September 20th. And for those of you watching on YouTube, thanks for stopping by, and please hit the like and subscribe buttons if you're enjoying the content. And we wanted to give a huge shout out to Matias, our chief Heron Head. Thank you so much for your generous support. Additionally, thank you to our other Heron Head patrons, Art, Brian, Kevin, James, and Karen. If you feel so inclined to support us on Patreon, you will find a link in the description wherever you are listening. And if you don't feel so inclined, that's totally okay too. We appreciate you being here. So if you joined us for our last episode, you would have noticed that Dave was absent. He was celebrating his birthday. So Dave, tell us all about the celebrations that were so important that you had to miss our very important podcast.
Yeah. First, sorry for missing out. I'm sorry for missing on the first loss of the MESSI era. I know that was an important part of this journey, and
the people needed you, and you were not there.
I know. I'm usually the one that lifts everyone. I know. I'm sorry. I counted on Jose to do it, so I'm sure he did. I'm sure he didn't go out of his way to go after Calendar for some reason. I'm sure that didn't happen. So it's okay. I left everybody in good hands. But no, I did go out and celebrate my 34th birthday with my beautiful wife, and I prepared myself for this match by getting some nice French food. We went to a nice restaurant in Miami, and we had some escargot, some canard. We had a bunch of nice different French dishes, and then I realized that Toronto's not located in Quebec, so that wasn't the best theme for my birthday. But here we are anyways, and I'm sure we all did our homework to talk about this match.
I'm ready to move past that loss and just whoop on this team. And I think Inter Miami's coming forward too. They left a bad taste in their mouth last match. And what better team to go home to, by the way. Messi's going to be back, hopefully. Alba's going to be back, hopefully. And just whoop them. This team is not very good. Inter Miami is licking their chops, and they're gonna give it to them.
Well, Chris pretty much said it. We should wrap this up. That's what we're going to talk about pretty much. But no, it's a fact that they're not a very good team. They're 1-9 the last 10 games. It should be something that we bounce back from. David, I thank you for leaving us. It was rough to talk about for sure. We needed you there, but glad you had a good time. We're looking forward to the next game, Julio.
This is maybe the quickest turnaround between episodes that we've ever had. And I think it's a byproduct of just wanting to get the bad taste out of our mouth. Let's move on. Let's talk about more exciting and fun things that are coming with this match against Toronto. Chris, you mentioned they're one of the worst teams in the league. They are the only team below us in the standings in the East currently. So this is the first time we've played someone below us in the standings for months. So we got to be licking our chops. Toronto have not been good. They have won 1 out of the last 14 matches or something like that. You know, they have some draws mixed in, but mostly a lot of losses. They're awful away. They've never won a game this season away from their home. And, you know, I fully expect Messi to play. I said that before the Atlanta match. We saw how that turned out. So who knows? But like you said, we're hopeful that he'll be back. We're hopeful that Alba will be back. And I think this is the perfect bounce back game to be on the back of our first loss in this new era of Inter Miami. I think this is the perfect opportunity to show the league that we can take a loss. It's no big deal. We're right back in it. On to the next one.
And we're going home. I think that's the biggest key point to take on here. Like we mentioned in the last episode, not only are we going home, but we're also going to stay in the state of Florida for the next match. And it's going to be a little bit easier this week as far as the travel goes. So it's a good start to just brush off that loss and go forward with it. I think the fans are going to be waiting for this matchup on Wednesday. Obviously, they want to see Messi, but they want to see how the team bounces back after taking that loss. Not only a loss, it was a big loss. 5-2 is not good. It was ugly. So I think the fans are just ready to see something new, and then like we said, Messi and gang is ready to go.
So let's talk about Messi and his effect on the team. I think we saw a huge difference in how we play against Sporting Kansas City and against Atlanta United. His absence causes so many problems to rear their ugly heads at this Inter Miami team. The possession drops off. People are having to do more than they might be capable or comfortable doing. You see that with players like Kremaski, Arroyo, Robert Taylor, Facu, who of all those players, Facu handles that most aptly. But it causes so many issues. Having Messi back, on top of it just being the Messi factor, he is a danger within himself. It alleviates so much pressure that these other players have to carry. I think to me that's one of the biggest things that Messi brings is his ability to take the pressure off of the other players that are on the pitch.
I think it's, I don't know if you guys went over it yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday about Alba missing out in the game. I think that almost might impact this team more than Messi being. I know that Messi is a transcendent player and that he really does push you over the top with your opportunities created. Uh, but I think when we lose Alba, we don't have a natural replacement for Alba. When you lose Messi, you can kind of insert Farias into that creation in the middle and kind of play off of that. And it's a drop off, but it's not a the drop off between Messi to Farias is not the same between the drop off from Alba to Noah Allen. When you have Noah Allen playing on that wing back side, your team now becomes completely off balance. We're used to pushing forward with our wing backs. You can't do that with Noah Allen. So then it becomes much easier to defend. You know that it's going to come from Yedlin's side, and then it's going to be a weird slow buildup from Allen's side, or a disproportionate buildup from Allen's side that they can't cover. And I think that just becomes way more detrimental. And it's something that this team needs to figure out. If Alba's not going to be in there, they need to figure out either a better formation or some kind of tactic to cover it up, because Noah Allen, we've said it before, he plays best as that left center back in a 5-back system. He can't be a wing back. If they want to play 4-back, fine. He has to stay back. He can't be pushing up. So they need to figure something out for when Alba's out. So I'm glad Alba did get that rest, and now we're really going to be counting on him moving forward, because we do not have a natural replacement for Alba.
No, and honestly, we did, Dave. We talked about it because it was one of those things where we were completely off. Every time they were attacking that side, we were exposed. When it was non-existent, the attack on that left side as well. So yeah, no, it's going to be a big relief having Alba back for this game, having Messi in his natural spot, putting Facu on. I'm assuming they're going to put him on the left wing again. I did where he's been thriving. These are positions. When you're already getting these guys back into natural positions, at that point it becomes what we've been expecting of them, what we've been noticing, and we can continue to build on it rather than trying to makeshift. Okay, here, put Noah Allen over there. He's not very good. Whatever, we'll figure it out. And Robert Taylor, you're left wing. We need you over there. It becomes very difficult to he was right wing. Sometimes he's a right wing back. He's normally a left wing back, a left wing, but we're putting him everywhere. He's not doing anything anywhere, but we just have him there. Like Chris said, not me. He was just a body. That's what Chris said. It wasn't even me. But hopefully we don't see him. That'll be good. But if we do, we'll hope for the best. I'm excited. I think we're gonna be able to expose their defense. I was from the film that we were watching. I was watching Michael Bradley back there. He looked like a scarecrow. It was like a scarecrow just waiting for balls to go in his area, and he was just looking at it like, who's going to help me, because it was like he's not moving. Everything was just flying by him, and he was not doing much. I expect Messi to get right around him, so it's going to be fun.
What do you guys see? Because I know we've spoken a lot about the formation changes and things like that. What do you guys foresee Tata doing with the formation? Do you think he sticks to that 4-back? Does he switch up the attacking positions a little bit? Maybe 2 striker instead of 1 striker? What are you guys kind of thinking about that? Because I think it's really important after what we saw last match. It obviously didn't work out. So
if Alba and Yedlin are both playing, I think he goes with the 5-back. Just because, again, it's your natural position for having those wing backs move up without really giving up too much on defense if you still have those 3 center backs in the back. So I think so long as Yedlin and Alba are both available and starting, I think they go 5-back. Now, if for whatever reason Yedlin's not starting because he needs some rest, then I do think that they might do a 4-back with Alba kind of floating around.
Or Robert Taylor.
I think that experiment came and went, and I think that everybody saw enough of that to know that doesn't work. But this is a very poor team, so it might be something that they want to play around with if they feel the need that they need to give Yedlin some rest. But yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that we've seen the last of Robert Taylor at any wing back position.
You're right, though. He does need rest. Yellen, he's been one of those guys that we've been rotating, and everybody else has been rotating. He's been consistent. Yeah, he didn't have a bad game in the last game, which is interesting considering everything else was kind of horrible. But he was not bad, and I thought it was encouraging to see that, because in a game where everything is kind of discombobulated and everybody's losing their composure, he seemed to be a very steady force and took on the leader role in that game. I mean, they're fighting. People were fighting everywhere. Right? It was getting out of control. But he was good. But I'm worried about what you're saying. If he's gonna take a rest, who's gonna take over that right wing back spot? Because the 4-man back, I haven't liked it. Every time we play it, I haven't liked it at all. I kind of, even if you put Robert Taylor back there, I'm gonna be upset. But I think it's still better to keep that 5-man back system going. Just so we gotta keep the same. We gotta make people change to us, right? We're constantly having a formation change, and it's like, why don't we just get our formation that we're good at, which we already know what it is. Keep getting it better, keep building on it, and then we'll just fill people in.
It's not atypical for a team to go with different formations. You don't want to always have the same lineup at week in and week out, because then it becomes a little easier to game plan around you. You want to be able to keep guys guessing what you're going to do and show that you're multiple. Just like any sport, you don't want to fall into a rut. You don't want to show the same cards over and over and over, because then it becomes easier to game plan against you.
We also haven't been able to, right? We've had players rotating in and out, availability, injuries. I think that rolls with a 5 at the back this match, just because he's going to want to take an early lead, be very much on the front foot, dominate possession, and just pepper Toronto early and often with shots from all over. I also think it's important to reintegrate Christoph into the starting lineup to get him back into form with our team. We saw him at the very end of the Atlanta match, but he needs to get in and get some more playing time heading into this stretch to maybe spell Kamal Miller a little bit, to maybe spell Toto Aviles whenever we do choose to go for at the back. But I expect him to be reintegrated to the lineup. And as far as Noah Allen goes, he can be sort of the sub for any of these defenders later in the match as needed. If needed, Yedlin can come off, and even Taylor playing right wing back at a 5 in the back versus playing right back in a 4 in the back is much easier to swallow. It's not ideal, but we really don't have depth behind Yedlin. So having him there, at least you have center backs kind of covering marginally that right side where Yedlin normally is when you play a 4 at the back. When you have a 5 at the back, you have an extra defender that can kind of help out over there. But yeah, I think they go 5 at the back. It allows us to be more on the front foot, have more attackers up front when we have the wing backs getting up. And It just gives us way more options in attack, and Toronto's not going to be able to handle it, to be quite frank.
Do you think they put a call into Chelsea for Cucurella when they heard that he was available? Because I'm pretty sure we could use a spare wing back.
I don't know. Chelsea's not quite the ideal club to be getting players from at this moment. They're not performing too well. But yeah, I mean, listen, I expect Alba and Messi to be back. To your point, Dave, the drop off when Messi's not there versus the drop off when Alba's not there. When Messi's not there, we're still a good to very good attacking team. When Alba's not there, we go from being a good to average defending team to a very bad defending team. When Allen's in, this is a point that we made in our Atlanta reaction. When Allen's in, he not only affects and becomes a deficiency at left back, he affects Kamal Miller or whoever the center back beside him is, because Allen gets caught in possession way up the pitch and then leaves a huge gap behind. And Miller had to cover for him the entire match. When Silva would get the ball on a quick break, Kamal Miller was gassed by the 60th minute. And it caused problems all over the place. The own goal was a byproduct of this.
Yeah, that's why Allen is he's not a wing back. He's a fullback. He's either a fullback or he's going to play center back. He has no business being in attack. So when you have him in that position, it's you're opening yourself up to that issue. So that's what I'm saying. We can't find him in that spot. If they're going to go without Alba, then they have to switch up their tactics, and they can't be expecting that of him because it's only going to spell disaster.
Now, Julio, you mentioned you happened to mention the possession game, which I enjoy speaking about that. Excuse me. What I think is interesting is that did you know, Julio? Did you know that 3 of the last 4 games for Toronto, they've had over 57%? Now, obviously, we've already discussed that they haven't been successful games. However, that's what they're aspiring to do. They're aspiring to have possession. When they play Columbus, did not go very well. They got shut out 2-0, and they had 40% possession towards Columbus's 60. This is the way. Okay, this is how we're going to be able to beat them, and this is how we're going to be able to sub in some guys and do what we want to do. Ultimately, we have a tough sledding coming up, right? We don't want to be overworking our guys. So what we need to do is we need to get on them early, just attack, be high possession, and so that's the benchmark, 60%. That's what we need to have.
We need to get that tattooed onto our foreheads. Score early, get ahead early, because that seems to be
and 60% possession. 60%. That's the merch idea right there. That's the first merch.
Get ahead early.
Interestingly, Jose, to your point, the match that they did not have a majority of possession was the one away fixture of those 4 matches. So the game against Columbus was at Columbus. So I think that factors in playing away. They play more with a little bit more confidence at home. It surprises me that they have talented players in attack, and it hasn't really translated. I don't want to overlook the danger that they do pose, because our defense is the weak point. We may have more confidence in them at times than others, but our defense is the weak point of this team. I'm very confident in all the players from Busquets up. It's from Busquets back that will be just the deficiency of this team for the rest of the season. There's been a lot of discourse over the last 24 to 36 hours since the end of the Atlanta match about this defense is awful. This is why they should have brought in a center back. They should bring in a center back. We can't bring in a center back until the offseason. So let's forget about that discussion. We have to deal with the defenders and the pieces that we have with the team right now for the rest of the season. So I don't want to overlook that they have players that are very capable in attack. They have Federico Bernardeschi. They have Lorenzo Insigne. These are European talents that have come to the MLS and still have some juice. So we need to be very careful on the counterattacks We need to be very careful when Toronto is able to find little spells of possession, not to overlook and say this is the worst team or one of the worst teams in the MLS. They don't pose a threat, because that's when we will shoot ourselves in the foot.
One thing that concerns me is if Insigne does play and if he's on the ball, his style of play is a concern for Toto Aviles, because Toto Aviles is very, very aggressive and very eager to stick a leg in, and Insigne is very good on the ball. So I'm scared that he's going to get himself into trouble. I saw that not too long ago. I mean, I know it was at the end of the game, but Philadelphia got a red card. But I'm concerned with Toto Aviles. I feel like the big mistake is coming. You felt it for a while now. He has shown progress, but it keeps rearing its ugly head, and I think Insigne might be the one to finally get Toto in a very unadvantageous spot.
Guys, one guy you didn't mention is DeAndre Kerr. He's their young forward that's homegrown talent. He's like 20 years old. He's super young, but he's been scoring a lot of goals as of late. I think he actually caught up to both of those guys in goals scored on the team. So he's made a nice push on that team, and he's very strong in attack. So I think that's another guy we can't sleep on him. You know, we want to talk about these bigger names, but he's definitely someone that might give our defense some trouble just from the recent success that he's had. The last match that they lost against Vancouver, I think it was, he had the only goal in the match, and then the match against Philadelphia, he had one or two as well in the match. So he's definitely someone we got to watch out for. Especially like we said, our defense could sometimes be a little leaky. So just got to watch out for these guys.
I believe he had Chris. He had 5 goals since he's joined the club.
Yeah, he has 5 goals. He's caught up to the other guys.
Bernardeschi has 5, Kerr has 5, and Insigne has 4.
So one thing I was noticing on the film with Kerr was that he was actually the guy that on breakaways they did not mind just throwing it up to him and just saying go get it. That was that I don't know if we've gotten caught too many times in that situation on these counters, but they like doing it specifically because they're not. I never noticed like a very good buildup with them. I noticed their style of play was either a counter over the top or a through ball through the middle of the pitch, and just catching the center backs just looking the other way. You know what I'm saying? And that's obviously a concern considering how bad we played on defense the last game. But I think if we put some Christoph, Kamal Miller, we have Jordi Alba now. I don't know if that's going to be the case. Although their strength is the wings, I also believe that's if like where our defense is a weakness. I don't think our backs are the weakness. You know, especially when you're having Bernardeschi's going to be going up against Jordi Alba. I don't know if he's going to have the same level of impact. I think he's going to cancel him out, to be honest with you. I think we're going to put him in the same, in the doghouse as well. You know, it is what it is.
Is it Mukhtar's doghouse or is it another one now?
I don't know. It's been a while already, so I don't even know if I think we should change the name.
No one's been in the doghouse. No one's been in the doghouse for a little bit. Doghouse got burned down last match.
Yeah, I mean, I feel comfortable talking about that at this point.
The trouble with Bernardeschi and Insigne is the same issue that we saw with Xander Silva in the Atlanta match. If Jordi Alba gets caught up the pitch and Bernardeschi is able to exploit the space behind him, it's not Alba covering him. It's going to be Kamal Miller. It's going to be Sergei Kristov. It's going to be Toto Aviles. It's going to be these center backs behind who aren't the most agile players. They're not the quickest players. And when you get these quick, agile players running at them, that's when major problems come into play. And yeah, they might play very isolated with Kerr up top, sort of waiting for the long breaks. Our team has seemed to handle that sort of counterplay well. Not to jinx anything, but we've handled that pretty well. And it'll be interesting. We should beat this team flatly, like full stop, right? But we shouldn't overlook that they have players up front that can put a shot on target and score. We've had 3 straight matches now without a clean sheet. It's been against good opponents. It's been against LAFC. It's been against Atlanta. and it's been against one of the better strikers in the MLS, against Pulido from Kansas City. So none of these guys are of that pedigree this season, but they have the ability. They have the European experience. They have stuff like intangibles that you would say in attack. So I just don't want to overlook them, although I fully believe that we should obliterate Toronto.
But also Insigne and Bernardeschi, they travel. They like to play from the outside in, right? So they don't. These guys don't have a lot of goals scored, so they don't have the Pulido stats. They don't have the stats that Vela have or GG. But ultimately, like they're very good. They're very capable players. I'm not sure if it's something to do with also the changing coaching staffs. That can also hurt them. When does the new coach start? I think it's a Canadian coach, David.
Yeah,
It's like 10 matches ago or something, right?
Canadian national team's coach. He takes over October 1st. 10 matches ago was the interim head coach. I think it was Dumfield. Dumfield is the interim, and Herdman is going to take over October 1st. So that transition hasn't happened yet. And in the last 10 matches, they're 1-9. So they're not doing well. This is a team that's just currently not the form.
So when you're throwing in all these different coaching changes, they already have another one that they're already an impending coaching change. So this current staff is probably trying to get the respect of these players when these players already know, hey, you're not long here. Let's just wrap this up. We have another coach coming soon. It's got to be very difficult to man the locker room in that situation.
And this is, I mean, Julio spoke a little bit about it with Luis Miguel Echegaray. This is the idea of relegation where it comes in, because you do have teams kind of mailing it in, and there's no real threat of any repercussions or of anything. So this is when the relegation talk kind of gains some steam. I find it very hard to imagine in a North American sport that these owners who spend this type of money just to get a club will ever agree to that. But it's definitely an argument. And who knows, maybe now with Messi bringing this European mentality to the league, we're starting to hear talks of international breaks and things like that. So maybe, who knows, maybe this spur of change will kind of introduce that idea of relegation as well.
And maybe they'll even get goal line technology now too.
God forbid.
No, of course not.
So I think you will find that Toronto, they don't have anything to play for other than pride. They are the only team in the MLS with no away wins this season. The only ones. They're the worst team in the league away from home. So they don't have, I mean, they don't have, you made a face when I said they don't have anything to play for. They don't. Like, they are, if you want to say that we have a slim chance of making the playoffs, they have less of a chance at making the playoffs. And they don't have Messi. And they don't have Messi.
They're playing for their jobs at this point. They're playing for the next coach to see that they're good, and
or for another contract, a transfer, something, right? That, like, they're not playing for any team related accolades. There's nothing to achieve.
Be the first team to beat Messi. That's the only thing left, really, right? That's as a professional, I would assume that would be a heck of a notch on your belt, right?
And this is something that will come across with every team. Every team will want to beat Messi. Every team views us as having a target on our backs, right? So especially if Messi's on the pitch, because Atlanta can say that they beat us and it was the first team that beat us since Messi's been on the team. Messi wasn't there. They said, bring your whole squad. The whole squad wasn't there. So whatever. Get over yourself. Yeah, Toronto will definitely, I mean, they'll get up for the match, especially when news comes out that Messi's going to play. They're going to get up for it. And I think we'll see the best of some of these European talents that have already faced or seen Messi.
Yeah, this isn't the timber that they're getting up for. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to the Rapids. No, they're playing Messi and Miami, and this is the top 5 team that everyone in soccer is talking about right now. So if you want to make your name for yourself, Insigne, today would be the day. So I'm sure that's why he's looking at it.
So outside of Messi and Alba rejoining the lineup, Do you guys think there are other changes to the lineup from what we saw against Atlanta?
I'm curious to see if Busquets gets a rest. I know he came on, or he was subbed. I don't know if he was subbed on or subbed off a couple matches ago, so he didn't play that full match. But he's been a main fixture in pretty much every match that we've played. And now we've seen Messi have a night off. We've seen Alba have a night off. So I'm curious to see if Busquets will get a night off. If Busquets doesn't play, then I think it's even more imperative that you go 5 back. Because if you do have a 4 back, you can kind of drop Busquets back a little bit and provide a little more coverage and defense. But yeah, if Busquets does get a night off, it'll be interesting to see who we use and what kind of lineups we'll see then. But that's the one thing I'm really wondering to see if he's due for a night off.
Who takes the Busquets role if he's out?
I was literally thinking that right now, Chris.
Robert Taylor.
Oh my God, please, God, you gotta know. The thing is that by you saying that, it like brought me to think about that. That's literally what Chris asked, because naturally the person I would have thought was not Arroyo, because I don't know if Arroyo has the same vision. Sometimes I felt like Arroyo is the kind of player that just is okay with like not putting the ball forward, and he's okay with just dribbling and passing back, amongst defenders. Whereas Busquets is constantly looking downfield, constantly looking to advance the ball in very tight spots. Where I don't know if anyone really has that vision on our team, to be honest with you, particularly in that role, right, where you have to play defense as well. The only player that I would think of that has the potential to do it, but I don't think he has the offense to do it, is Gomez, right? And he's not even playing. So
he's hurt.
All right, so it's like, okay, so if Gomez can't do it, can Kromansky play defense? And also, he has vision. He could do something similar, but he doesn't play defense very well.
I think Arroyo would have to by default be the best choice for that. Even if Gomez was healthy, Arroyo is his mentality. I think fits the best for that role because he does look to pass first, and he is a quality defender. That's it. That's all you'll need from that spot. You're not going to get the passing that Busquets gets from anyone. So, with that in mind, you just try to get the next best thing. What's the building block that we need for just this role? Decent passing and solid defending. So at that point, you put Arroyo there. You don't expect the forward passes that you get from Busquets, and you work around it. Especially if Messi's playing. If Arroyo's back there, get the ball to Messi. Let Messi distribute. Or
it's a tactical change above just the personnel change, right? If Busquets is not playing, Tata has to employ the mentality of what is the expectation for that player. When Busquets is in, there's a certain expectation. When it's not Busquets, just like you said, Dave, the passing ability is not going to be the same level. So what's the expectation? Okay, Arroyo, play defense really well, get the ball back when we turn it over, and then just play it to either of the other midfielders, get on with the next play. Like I think the tactical side of it just changes as well when the personnel changes, if we're talking about Busquets specifically.
Yeah, you even have Facu and Messi. If Arroyo's there playing, you know that his passing isn't like Sergio. Well, what are you gonna do? Okay, well, I'm gonna bring Messi up. He's gonna get the ball and take it up himself. He's gonna do a few croqueticas and just fly up and or whatever he got up there. And then Facu on the other side do the same thing. But yeah,
our defensive passing, what they do a lot is they're just like checking pressure points. See, they're kicking the ball around, making sure, seeing where the weak spot is. They don't mind kicking around. That's where we get a lot of our possession. It's just them kind of just testing the waters, and then finally when they find the weak spot, that's where the pass goes. So I think that Arroyo would be just as fine in that role. Of course, you're not going to expect the downfield pass, and that's fine. Just keeping that role, and when you do have Messi, you do have Facu, you still have playmaking ability. So it's just a little bit of a limitation in the passes that you'll get from him. But I think that tactic won't change too much.
Back to the original question that Julio asked. I really want to see Kamal Miller again. I was really disappointed last game. Again, we said maybe it was the play of No Allen. We don't know, right? So I'm really hoping to see that bounce back game from Kamal Miller, help Calendar out a little bit, not have so many shots on goal, not get burned so many times. I think Jordi Alba obviously helped with that, like we said. But yeah, I want to see him shut down the attack a little bit, or whatever attack that they do have. We know that it's not going to be very strong, right? But yeah, it may be a good bounce back game for him, and I'm looking to see that. If we see another weak performance from him, it might get a little bit of an alert going off.
For who? For Calendar?
No.
You said come on.
Come on. Not Calendar. We love Calendar. You don't. You already said it last episode, which is ridiculous.
He'll love him again. If Calendar gets a clean sheet, you better believe that he's going to be all over Calendar.
That's literally what I said in the last podcast. I said the last episode. I said, "Hey guys, if give me a clean sheet, and then I'll love you again." But I don't think it's hard to ask. Just do it. Don't get it. You're playing the worst team in the MLS. Give me a clean sheet. What's so hard?
Jose's just a Johnny come lately. He's whoever's doing well. That's who Jose thinks is good. And if God forbid you have a down game, you're trash.
The last 2 games have been trash, and no one here wants to talk about it. I'm okay to talk about it. You're okay. You're okay with your goalie giving you 5 goals. You guys are okay with it? 3-0. You guys love it.
I'm not okay with our defense playing like they did last match. I'm not okay with that at all. And I think that has a big issue, or that's a big issue with Calendar giving up so many goals.
I'm not under the assumption that everything is the goalie's fault. There's other things that go into a strike, and yeah, you can always fault a goalie for errors that they induce, but there's 4 guys in front of him. There's 5 guys in front of him that have to play their parts as well.
Speaking of players that have played well, I expect Campana to be in the starting lineup. The prediction becomes, how many goals do we expect Campana to score? Because I have a flag that I want to plant. None. I think Leo Campana finishes the season as the MLS Golden Boot winner.
Talk about a hot take.
He's currently on 9 goals. He's currently on 9 goals. I believe the league leader right now is at 14. I haven't checked the last couple matches that came through following Atlanta's match. 7 games to go. He's 5 back right now. I think he finishes the season as the Golden Boot winner.
I think that's realistic. As long as he keeps getting starters minutes, I think that it's very possible for that, because he's evolved. He's become the point person in the attack, and you've seen countless goals go off of his forehead. Now you're seeing him dribble the ball, and oh my God, I know you guys spoke glowingly about it, but my God, what a goal that was! Just being able now he's showing a little bit of pizzazz and a little bit of creativity that is something that we haven't seen from him. So it's a good, he keeps developing. That's what we've said that we want to see from these guys: develop, and definitely Campana looks like he's sure developing.
He's so hot right now.
So hot right now. So Julio, sorry, buddy, but I don't think it's gonna happen. He needs, just to catch up to the leader right now at 14, if that number is still accurate, he needs 0.7 goals a game. That's just to catch up. That's assuming that no one else scores a goal.
These are the top attackers. He can never score 0.7 goals in a game. Okay, you either score 1 or you don't score. Okay,
Chris, did you know? Chris, did you know?
Did you know?
Campana has scored 2 goals in each of the last 2 matches.
I do know. But can he keep that up is the question.
That's so much more than 0.7. Nobody's ever scored 0.7 goals in a game.
Never?
No.
Julio. In the history?
Julio.
I've never seen anybody score 0.7.
Julio, was Leo Messi in those games?
No. So just imagine what he could do with Messi in the game.
No. What's going to happen when Messi's in the game is Messi going to shoot and he's going to score himself. That's what's going to happen.
Well, to be fair,
who's going to get tell you what, better question than that one. Hat trick. Who's the first one to get a hat trick on this team?
Campana. He was so close to getting a hat trick 2 games ago.
Messi too. And Messi now has 14 games of just relaxation. in South Beach. He's just like fanning himself in the Ritz Carlton.
But Messi
Jose-
had to
happy.
score. Messi had to score because we kept throwing Joseph Martinez out there at striker. So he's like, I have to score. If not, this dud is not going to do
Jose-
anything. So he felt the need. He needed to score.
I have to say you're actually wrong about that. Campana
He was-
did have 2 goals with Messi. Remember the two passes into the box, 2 headers.
I didn't say he didn't do it. What I'm saying is the last 2 games. And the last 2 games was Messi there.
Oh.
No, he was not.
No, he wasn't.
That's
But he
my
still
point.
scored 2 goals with Messi. So to Julio's point, yes, it could happen. But no, I'm sorry, man. It's not gonna
I
happen.
just don't see it happening with Messi. Just Messi
That's fine.
would be
Listen,
super ready to, like
no. This is
unload.
exactly where I want you and everyone else that's listening that's not a believer, okay? Because when it happens, I'm going to say, guys, on September 18th, I said that he was going to win the Golden Boot when he was 5 goals back with 7 matches remaining. I don't want you guys to get any credit.
Look, I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to put it to you very simply. If Messi wants him to be the leading goal scorer, he will be the leading goal scorer. How about that? If all of a sudden we start seeing Messi just perfectly feeding him these random balls, he's like, dude, you have to score that one. Like, did you see Messi's face when he didn't end the game? What game was it that he that went to overtime? I think it was in the cup.
Nashville.
It was Nashville, the final.
He could have ended it at the last second, and you saw Messi's face afterwards. He had this like just looking up to like help me, because I don't know. Maybe he looks at Joseph that way, but maybe he looks at Campana too. Like he's like, man, you're not Luis Suarez.
We'll revisit this come season's end.
I expect Messi to make the right play. I don't think he goes into anything saying I'm going to score or I'm going to make Campana score. I think Messi goes in attack looking to make the right play. That's how you end up with those beautiful passes to Kramaski, and passes that nobody sees is because Messi makes the right play.
So now that I've made my bold prediction for the season, I think it's time we talk about predictions for this match. So guys, Dave Stradamus, are you in the building or not today?
Dave Stradamus is here, but my helmet needed a little recalibration because it had the right goal total scored, but the sequence was all messed up, so that the helmet's in the shop. But Dave Stradamus is here, and don't worry, have no fear. This is gonna get done. So we're getting an Inter Miami win, no doubt about it. This time it's gonna be a 4-0 win. No hat tricks, but there will be a brace, and it will be Campana.
I predict 5-0. It's going to be Messi's going to get a hat trick just because he's upset at the tweet that Atlanta wrote that and all the fans, where is Messi? And say he's gonna do the Ronaldo. Bah! Here's Messi right here, baby. I don't know what to tell you. That's what's gonna happen. He's gonna start. What's the next? You know what a good question is? What superhero is he gonna mimic today? That's gonna be the good one.
I was gonna ask you guys after the round.
He's gonna go like this. He's gonna go like this and have a cape, a little Superman cape go out behind them.
It's not Marvel. Not Marvel. Try again.
Happen anyways.
Guarantee it won't be Superman.
Have your own opinion.
Oh man, guys, did you notice that David could never be wrong? He threw in the fact that he had the right amount of goals. He could never just say that he was wrong. He just had to say it.
Did I not have the right amount of goals?
You did, but that point is moot.
He said he sent the helmet to the shop. I don't know what else you want him to do.
Yeah, Chris, what do you want?
What did he
Everything
predict, Chris?
I was wrong, but there's always a but with this guy. Anyways,
you don't like butts?
So let's go with. I'm gonna go with a 3-1 win for Miami. DeAndre Kerr does get their 1 goal. I already spoke about him. He gets their 1 goal, and on our side, Messi's gonna get a goal. And to make Julio happy, we're gonna go with Campana 2 goals, just to keep his hopes. Just to keep his hopes up for the Golden Boot that he's not going to get. So yeah, 3-1, Miami wins.
Two things. First, did you know that 2 is more than 0.7? Secondly, you're telling me that after he scores 2 this match, according to your prediction, and he's on 11, you don't believe that he will win the Golden Boot?
No, because Mukhtar's also going to have 2 this weekend, and he's going to keep going.
Who do they play?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Haven't looked, but
Mukhtar's going to score 0.7 in his next match. Deal with it.
All right. So my prediction for this match is a 5-1 win from Inter Miami. I think I don't think Toronto has enough. They don't have the facilities in defense to be able to contain this attack, especially with Alba and Messi very likely coming back. Campana's going to destroy them. Hat-trick incoming. And we'll have that discussion again, following that match. Do you guys want to do time predictions on first goal for Miami? I think we get back to our old ways and go 8th minute.
Yeah, I'm gonna say we get a 10th minute goal, and I do want to talk about the superhero thing. So after we finish this round of things, I do want to bring that topic back up.
12th minute.
21.
All right, so now
superhero
time. Here we go. So it has to be Marvel. He's done Thor. He's done Spider-Man. Has he done anything else? And he did.
I don't know how he can mimic. He's what? He's 5 feet tall. He can't do a Hulk smash. So we got.
Why can't he do a Hulk? That was going to be mine. I think he's just going to go back there and just smash do a thunderclap and do the Hulk smash. Oh, that's awkward. Nothing else that he's done is.
That's awkward.
But Thor, it's not awkward.
You just stood there.
Spider-Man was awesome. That was my favorite one.
All right. So what is it? What do you think? If the Hulk smash is awkward, what is not awkward?
Daredevil. He does he does the when he's laying down. That's not Marvel either.
It's Marvel. It's Marvel, but what does he do laying down?
It's a reach. It's a reach.
He's just gonna lay down, and that's
the lay down thing.
He's gonna act blind. What?
David knows because he put some weird picture about that one day.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Don't say that because we have that pictures. We can put it on I can send it to you, Julio, to put on Twitter. That'd be good. You don't remember the one from Halloween that you were there? That you were.
Dude, that is
not. You talking about Deadpool?
That's Deadpool.
Deadpool. That's what I'm talking about. Deadpool. And that would be funny if he did that. Like, do you imagine he just goes and just lays down and goes that?
One, that would be funny. 2, Jesus Christ, you're so off.
Is that not Marvel?
They're just very different characters.
Very different.
Chris, who do you think he'll mimic?
Let's go with a little Doctor Strange. Maybe one of these like mystical, whatever he does with his little pendant.
That's actually a great one. If he was able to do like the hand motions for the time stone, that'd be pretty.
That's why he didn't play the last game because he was practicing the hand motions.
He was watching the whole Marvel Universe movies to see what's next.
You guys, I think he didn't think this one through. But when he started doing these, I think he's just he's gonna be out of it at some point. He's gonna be like, I guess I'll do my, I'll have all the diamonds at one point. You go like this.
The diamonds. Jose's talking about the Infinity Gauntlet for those of you listening on audio.
Maybe he does the Thanos snap.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That'll be my prediction since you already had one. He's going to do a Thanos snap.
There you go. It's not a hero.
All right, guys. So that'll do it for our match preview against Toronto FC. Again, the match is on Wednesday, September 20th. We will be doing our live post-game reaction as always on YouTube. So please feel free to join us. Make sure you're subscribed and have the notifications turned on so you know when we do go live. Follow us at the Heron Heads anywhere, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and we'll be posting updates throughout. Thank you so much for listening to the end. We will join you with champagne bottles and pots and pans on Wednesday night, and we'll see you guys next time.
I was not ready for these Marvel things.
I'd be so happy if he does the thunderclap.